What is up, guys? Today I bring to you the servant profile of the day, the DAP master himself, James Moriarty. He can be summoned as a caster and an archer. His place of origin is Europe, and he's a fictional character from the same set of stories as the servant Sherlock Holmes. In these novels, Moriarty is described to be a highly respected math teacher that went rogue and turned into a criminal mastermind that serves as a rival to Sherlock. Abilities. Now, by normal standards, Moriarty would have been summoned to the scene as a caster. However, due to the fact that he's fused himself with the Phantom Spirit Max, he now appears in the form of an archer. Taking a look at some of his Ascension art, you can see that there's a lot of things that give a nod to his role in the story. The butterflies that you can find around his body and on his weapon are called the Papilio Ulysses. They are a species known to reside in Queensland, Australia, and they are noted to be one of the most unique type of butterflies in that area. And due to them having such a bright color, it makes them an easy target for a predator to make their approach. Meaning that if the Ulysses even wants to survive, they have to be cleverly evasive at all times, just like James Moriarty. Another thing to note is that the meaning of butterflies in general represent birth, death, and reincarnation. And if we relate this back to Moriarty, this is nothing short of how he figuratively killed his former self, erased his evil nature, and was born into the world anew in order to complete his mission. As you make your way through his ascensions, you'll notice that his garment evolves from a small article of clothing into a full-fledged cloak in a butterfly-like fashion. Now, although Moriarty has expanded capabilities from being a servant, the man is still noted to be in his 50s. He is very aware of the effects from his age, and carrying around a giant coffin on his back isn't doing him any justice. The cane that he carries around will feature a chameleon at the top end, which represents how Moriarty will blend in with his surroundings if he deems it necessary. You'll also find that this cane is an air gun, which is in reference to the same air gun that he had commissioned in his story. And it includes a blade that Moriarty can use at his discretion. So during his background, Moriarty commissioned an air rifle for Colonel Sebastian, who was one of the employees under his criminal organization. Now, sometime after Moriarty's death, Sebastian made an attempt to assassinate Sherlock using this same rifle. Luckily, Sherlock was on top of his game, and Sebastian was tricked into shooting a dummy of Sherlock instead. And through this background, Moriarty has acquired the same weapon. Furthermore, Moriarty is a co-founder of the League of Phantom Fiends, and with the help of the demon god Baal, he can fuse phantoms with a servant to give them extra power, or he can fuse phantoms together to create a new servant entirely. Super excessively armed multi-purpose coffin. Reichenbach. It's a coffin that's known to be Moriarty's go-to weapon. It has a chainsaw. It has a machine gun. It even has a missile launcher. Still not cool enough? Say no more. If all else fails, Moriarty will sling the entire coffin around like it's a flail and smack you dead in the face. The coffin itself is named after Reichenbach Falls, which is the same location where Moriarty and Sherlock had their final battle. Originally, Moriarty was created as a character to kill off Sherlock from the series. After spending a bit of time tussling with each other on the cliff, the two of them fall to their deaths, and the story was supposed to come to a close. However, the author began to run into financial trouble, and he ended up reviving Sherlock by having him survive the fall. The troll is real, and in grand order, Moriarty says that since he died at Reichenbach, it's only natural that he carry around a giant, heavily armed coffin as his souvenir. Personal skills: magic bullet shooter. The rank is EX. It's a skill that belongs to the Phantom Spirit Max. So the concept of Max is based on the character Max from the German opera known as the Marksman or the Sharpshooter. During this opera, Max, who was credited as being the best marksman in the region, takes part in a shooting contest but fails to succeed due to him having such a hard time hitting his mark. This is when he meets Casper. So, seeing how Max was down in the dumps, Casper let him borrow his own gun, and Max was able to take down a nearby bird flawlessly. How could this be possible when just recently his aim was so bad? Casper then tells him that what he just shot was a magical bullet, and he could acquire even more if he was willing to meet up again later. The two of them meet up as planned, and Max was able to receive more magical bullets. Now, here's the thing. Prior to the story taking place, Casper had initially sold his soul to the devil, and in return, he was given 7 magical bullets that will always pierce their mark under any circumstance. The last bullet, however, will be controlled by the devil himself. He will then try to take out the person you love the most, which in the opera was Max's girlfriend. So, once again, Casper makes another deal with the devil. If he could convince Max to meet up at a certain location, Max would also have access to these bullets, and thus he would unknowingly be selling his soul as well. And in return, Casper would receive an extra 3 years to live. Due to the fact that Moriarty is fused with Max, he has acquired access to this same ability. He has the power to fire magical bullets, and in theory, he can overcome any obstacle within the confines of Shinjuku. The end of the spider thread. The rank is A++. It's a skill given to someone who is good at conducting evil. And just like a spider catches prey in its web, Moriarty will capture his opponent and cause them to fall into despair. Just to give an example, there came a time in the story when Moriarty had Sherlock so shook that he fled the country of England and went all the way to Switzerland. Charisma of an evil genius. The rank is A-class. It's a specific charisma given to someone at the top of an organization. And since he has rank A, he can control the entire world from the shadows and you wouldn't even notice. So, as I mentioned before, Moriarty used to serve as the head of a criminal organization. He would look out for all the criminals in England, and in return, they would do anything that he asked. If we were to go off the way that he operates, Moriarty is the type to always have their hand in something, but never actually get his hands dirty. In fact, despite being involved in several crimes indirectly, Moriarty never makes an actual appearance in the story until the last few chapters of the series. The dynamics of an asteroid, the ultimate crime. The rank is A+. Since Moriarty is only a servant, it's only anti-army, but the effect can range up to anti-country. It's the embodiment of Moriarty's goal to destroy the planet and finally beat Sherlock Holmes. It's also a nod to the actual book, Dynamics of an Asteroid, that Moriarty wrote in his background. Basically, the dude said, since the good guy is usually the one that always wins, he erased his evil past and became the good guy instead. While demon god Bale was masquerading as his evil counterpart, Moriarty himself was able to infiltrate the group of the protagonists unharmed. The phantasm itself is meant to be a play on the entire singularity. which is 1999 Shinjuku, Japan. During this time, the real-world asteroid known as Bennu made its first appearance on our radar. So, with the power of this phantasm and the lore of Phantom Max, Moriarty was able to turn Bennu into the same magical bullet that never misses its mark. Now, remember how I said the devil will use the last bullet to take out the one that you love the most? Well, that person is none other than me, the protagonist. Why, you ask? Well, since Moriarty wasn't close to anyone during his actual life, and since I'm the one that summoned him as a servant, the closest person that he has a bond with is me. So the bullet is heading straight for me. Ain't that about a bitch? And outside of being just his headquarters, the tower where you can find his evil counterpart is also modeled to be the barrel of a gun. Once the asteroid makes it down to Earth, it will be loaded into the tower like an actual gun, shot into the Earth's core, and result in planetary destruction. And by the way, everything I just mentioned was planned out on a whim. What a time to be alive. Upon the use of his restricted version, Moriarty will tower over the city of London, slide into the opponent unleashing a barrage of projectiles, and follow up this attack by piercing them with his magical bullet. That about wraps it up. If you enjoyed the video, please like it up so we can get this trending. Feel free to add information as you see fit, and let me know what you guys think about it. It's your boy Tsiah. I'm out.